the two floor support spindles, the Tibetan spindle is a semi-supported spindle that is used to spin directly upright and spins in a clockwise direction just like the drop spindle for making the S-twist fiber. The Southwest spindle is a completely different characteristic of operation, and it's used across the lap or the knee. And the Southwest spindle has been used for centuries by the Navajo people in the Southwest. They are traditionally called a Navajo spindle, but the Navajo spindle has the point just like the flicking point on a great wheel. And my spindles, first off, out of respect for the Navajo people and those makers, and second, as a fact that it's really not a Navajo spindle. It has a bottom whorl that's characteristic of the spindle. It's tall, about anywhere from 30 to 36 inches long. My spindles have a hook, and the hook facilitates an ease of use that I've found that's very popular. A lot of people like it. So the Southwest spindle for the right-hand spinner will spin off of the left knee, and to spin this spindle this way, I'll put about 3 wraps on the hook, and we press down with the hand, with the top of the spindle very close to the knee, and press down and push. Press down and push. And that starts the spindle spinning, and with the sharp draft that I've got above the hook, then I can trade fingers and do my draft. But since I'm left-handed, the best demonstration that I can do will be off of my right knee, and I'm going to switch fingers, and we're still going to go in a clockwise direction. So for the right-handed person, the spindle is used off of the left knee. For the left-handed spinner, we're going to switch to the other side, and I usually like to use a bowl. A lot of people that will spin this way do not use a bowl. They'll just let the point spin on the floor. Coral Marion from Etsy, she uses a Southwest spindle and just spins on the floor. I'm going to spin clockwise, in clockwise direction. So instead of the spindle spinning away from me, press down and push away, I'm going to press down and pull towards me. So the spindle is still going to spin clockwise from the top if you're looking down at it, just like the Tibetan spindle. Now it's spinning away. So I'm going to press down with the hook close to my knee, and I'm going to pull it towards me. And the whirl is the weight that's low down on the spindle, and that gets the spindle turning and keeps it turning. And once I've gotten the draft down and can do the draft while the spindle's going, then I'm going to trade fingers with the pinch to keep the twist from traveling. I'm going to draft out the amount of fiber for the thickness of yarn that I want, and I'm going to have a little bit of a bump here because I just got started. And I'm going to let go, and when I let go with my right hand, the twist travels up to the left. And I'm going to keep that spin going. I'm going to overspin this fiber a little bit, and I'm going to keep drafting. And the really cool thing about the Southwest spindle is once you get the draft down, you're able to make a lot of fiber with it. So press down, pull towards you for a left-handed spinner. Press down, pull towards you, and then do the draft and trade fingers. And always make sure that the twist does not get to travel up into the ball of roving, and that you keep control of that. So that's the secret of spinning with any of the support spindles, really any of the spinning, is the draft and controlling the twist in where it's at. So I'm going to wrap onto the spindle. This is my demonstration spindle, so it's already got some fiber on there. And I'm going to wrap on with a couple of wraps, about 3 wraps I like to put on the hook. And this is where spinning becomes easy with this type of spindle. The hook keeps the fiber centered, and the centered fiber then is very easy to manage the twist. So we've got, with my left hand, I've got the fiber pinched. I over twist, I trade the pinch, and then I do my draft above where the fiber is pinched into my right hand. If we're spinning, if you're a right-handed spinner, then that would be on the opposite side, so it would be your left hand. So once I get the draft made that's got the right amount of fiber in it that I want for the size of yarn that I want to make, then I let go, and the twist travels up to my opposite hand. So we're going to put some more twist in there. And once I get where I have a pretty good feel for this, I can spin, keep the spindle going at the same time that I'm doing my drafting. And once you combine those two activities together, that's when you really take off and start making a lot of yarn. The Southwest Spindle, a really good example of a Navajo traditionalist, weaver and spinner that makes a lot of yarn in her video and does an excellent job of sharing some native wisdom, is Clara Sherman. So she's a good one to watch for another way, another example of this spinning. And then if you go to our, of course if you're watching this, you're on our YouTube channel, go to my likes, and Coral Marion has got a time lapse where she makes her art yarn with the Southwest Spindle. And the thing I like about the time lapses is there are long cycle cadences of motion that are apparent in a time lapse that are not readily apparent when you're just watching a regular video like this. So Coral's time lapse of her art yarn making with the Southwest Spindle is pretty cool. It's well worth watching, as is Clara Sherman's. The Navajo traditionalists and their spinning and weaving is nothing short of amazing. Their culture has a unique view of the world. I have some Navajo friends, and one of the great experiences that we had in our travels was to go to the Crown Point rug auction and to actually see and to participate in the event where the Navajo ladies had their rugs, and those rugs were for sale, and we bought some that evening. And it was a very moving experience to go to the Crown Point rug auction and to see those incredible weavings and to participate in that cultural event. So the Spindles of the World is the class that I teach, and we have the Southwest Spindle, support spindle that's used on the floor, the Tibetan Spindle, which is a support spindle that's used on the floor, and the Russian Spindle, which is a support spindle, a Charter Spindle that's used in the lab. I will be teaching the Spindles of the World class at Fiber U Mopaka event in Lebanon, Missouri, July 13th and 14th this summer. And our classes and our events and festivals are always online on our festivals page at thedancinggoats.com. And if you like these first principles lessons, the purpose for them is to provide an initial overview prior to coming to a class, and also provide that review afterwards. Classes cover a lot of concepts and ideas, and sometimes one of the most important things that you need in a class you'll forget. I've done that, and it's nice to be able to go back and just review and watch, and then try to duplicate, and remember to turn the spindle, remember to control the twist, remember to make the draft and let the twist travel, and then to practice.